Hello, everyone, and welcome to Belle with Amanda Monroe. I am your host, Amanda Monroe. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, follow Belle to Belle on all the social medias. And I am so excited today for our guest. I get to welcome Katie to the show. Katie, thank you for being on.
Thank you for having me.
So, tell me a little bit about you. What's your kind of connection to wrestling? What was your first exposure to wrestling? Where did things get started for you?
All right. So I'm 30 years old and I'm a mom of two beautiful babies, a little boy, Kevin, who's 2, and his twin sister, Liv, who is also 2. Have a great fiance who started me in the independent wrestling community, Matthew Hewen. However, I have been having a little bit more experience involved with it. I sang the national anthem for Doghouse Wrestling in Mound, Minnesota. They told me that I can possibly be their full time national anthem singer for all their shows coming up.
That's awesome.
Just trying to get myself out there with confidence and stuff, but I definitely enjoy just going to the shows, heckling all the heels and uh giving the ones that aren't heels a lot of love.
Mm-hmm. So, do you have a favorite independent promotion that you've been to?
Honestly, that's hard to choose a favorite. I got like a top 3 or 4 that I've been to. MAW,
Mm-hmm.
Discover Pro Booth, Ironheart Pro is pretty good. True North Wrestling is also as good, and Doghouse Wrestling is also really good.
Awesome.
Those are
And
like the
shout
main
out.
ones.
That's awesome. And shout out to Caitlin Diamond from Ironheart Pro. She is absolutely fantastic. She was my first official guest on the show, so she's great. So you said you got into
Oh yeah.
wrestling. So you said you got into wrestling from your fiance. What's your very first memory of it? Is there a match that you remember that kind of made you say, "I'm a fan of this"?
That would be my very first MAW show almost 4 years ago. It was Grand Slam 3 or 4. I think it was 3 or maybe 4. It was when Julia Hart was there for MAW, doing a meet and greet and stuff. And when I seen that show and stuff, that's when I was like, okay, I am a fan of them, and I liked going to the independent.
I remember that one because I got to ref Julia Hart's match, and I still let my husband hear that every single time she's on TV. I was like, "Hey, I hugged her." He's like, "I know," but yeah, she was fantastic too. So, do you watch any of the WWE, the AEW shows also? Or are you more kind of an independent girl?
I grew up watching Raw and SmackDown
Mm-hmm.
um for my dad, and then I lost touch of it for a while with not having cable and stuff, and then
Mm-hmm.
just recently got into it when I first got with my fiance. He took me to my very first Raw live.
Ooh.
Yeah, and then went to SmackDown, NXT, and TNA.
Oh wow. So you've been to a few.
Yeah.
Where did you go to the Raw and SmackDown? Was that in Minneapolis?
Yes. I think that was
Okay.
at
Target Center.
Center, Target Center, or Target Field, one of the two. I can't remember. Center. Yeah,
Yeah.
Center.
I bet it was the Target Center because yeah, they've had some really good shows. I remember my very first show there, but it almost dates me because that's when Jesse Ventura was the governor of Minnesota. Um so
Wow.
That was a long time ago. But
Yeah.
you always have like those first shows that you just remember. So do you
Yeah.
remember it? Oh yeah, go
I,
ahead.
two things that I remember is I got to meet Matt Riddle before he was released. And then I
Okay.
also got Alexa Bliss, who is one of my favorite female wrestlers, to acknowledge me when I was in the crowd.
Oh, that's amazing. Were those two kind of like your favorite wrestlers when you started watching again? Or do you have kind of any, even when you first started with your dad, are there any that you remember that were kind of like your favorites that stood out more?
Yeah. So with my dad, when I grew up watching it, was Rikishi. I loved
Hmm.
seeing him stink face to people. And then
Yes.
he was like one of my favorite ones and I actually got to meet him, and that was such an honor to meet him. He was so nice my first time meeting him. And then Undertaker, would love to meet him one of these days, and Kane. And then when I first went to Raw, Matt Riddle was one of my favorites, and Alexa has always been one of my favorite female ones, and Liv Morgan.
Yes. So how about the indies? Do you have any favorite female wrestlers, especially that are on the indies? I feel like there's always like a few. It's hard to pick one.
Oh yes, Sierra. She's a phenomenal wrestler.
Yes.
Maggie Lee. Shout out to her being on TNA now, but when she was on part of MAW and that, she is such a great one. Lainey Lux, really good. Brittany
Mhm.
Brooks, really good. Uh, Heather Monroe, she's also really good.
Are there any matches that you've seen in the indies that kind of stand out to you that you still remember?
Um, yeah, this last year at Grand Slam, it was uh Aaron Corbin against Gator McGraw, and was it a Texas Bull Rope, or it was a what? It was a bunkhouse brawl match.
Oh, okay, okay.
And I'd say for him being his age, he definitely put on one heck of a show.
I think that's really really awesome. You see a lot of these, older wrestlers now, um, kind of doing more of the kind of, I guess, bloody matches, more of the death match type, which is great. I
Mm-hmm.
also love seeing the females going in and doing death matches. I think there's one coming up in AEW as well. So yeah, I think it's great. Just yeah, between older wrestlers and female wrestlers, I think just the environment today, I think is even different than it was, 20 years ago.
Right.
So, are there any independent companies that you haven't been to? You haven't been to a show yet that you would like to go to?
Um, there is one that my fiance was telling me about. I just cannot remember the name of it, but he said he's been to like one of them. Um, is that babe? That Blizzard Brawl one? GLCW. That's one that I've wanted to go to. We've talked about going a couple years, and we just either the weather was really bad, or we just ended up double booking ourselves, so we never had a
Oh,
chance to.
okay.
But that I definitely want to check out.
Yeah, because I think that one's in Wisconsin, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. So, do your kids get involved in wrestling or watching it with you?
Oh yeah, our daughter's been going since she was 3 weeks old. Her brother was in the hospital, so she's got one show up on him. But
That's great.
yes, yep. So they've pretty much been going since they were really little, and they enjoy it. They'll like clap. Sometimes they'll dance when they hear the wrestlers come out. They've offered to give high fives when they're close enough.
That's great. Do you think they'll maybe think about being in wrestling someday?
I think for sure our daughter might, because she'll like throw herself on the ground in her bed, or if she falls, and she'll start counting like 1, 2, 3, like she's trying to ref and stuff. And we'll see her like wrestling and throwing around her toys, doing super kicks and stuff. We're not so sure about Kevin yet, but he does show quite a bit of interest in it. So.
And that's awesome. Kind of bring them in when they're younger.
Mm-hmm.
It's really, and I know at some of the shows that I've gone to, you see these kids that really get into it. I
Yeah.
saw I saw one kid one time, I don't think he was probably older than like 8 or 9, was cheering so loud he like took his shirt off. So this little kid is just shirtless in the crowd. I was like, that
Oh,
is a hardcore child. That is a hardcore child right there. It was awesome. Have you had any personal experiences with any of the indie wrestlers where it was kind of like that? It was like, oh, this really happened.
um, I've had a couple of them like get in my face when I'll heckle them and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And the first time it happened, it like threw me off because I was not expecting that reaction. But
Yeah.
then after a while, I get like really excited, like, yeah, do it more, do it more.
Well, and that's one thing I love about independent wrestling too. You go to these bigger shows and you can yell and you're just yelling with the crowd. Whereas when you're in these indie shows, you get that response
Yeah, they'll
from
interact with you more.
yes. And it's so much more of like an intimate venue. And I think that's great for kids too. They
Mhm.
get to experience what it's like to be up close with those wrestlers. So that's awesome. So I know you said you sang the national anthem at one of the shows. So where can people find you if they need somebody to sing a national anthem for them in the Midwest? Where can they find you?
They can reach out to me through Facebook. Um, or I do have a YouTube channel too. I've
Sweet.
uploaded quite a few videos of me singing and stuff.
Awesome. And I will make sure to link those socials in the description of this episode.
Oh yeah, and Instagram too. I do have an Instagram as well. So
Awesome. Fantastic. All right. So I know I made it kind of short today, but I want to thank you so much for being on the show with me to kind of talk about things from a fan experience. This was awesome. So really quickly, I want to make
yeah,
sure
thank
to
you so much.
plug. Absolutely, I know we have a little lag. So I just want to do a couple of plugs here before we go. Thank you to the Friends of the Squared Circle. You can see there we go. You can see the icon right up there. Please make sure to follow Friends of the Squared Circle on Facebook, Instagram, X, wherever you find your socials. Also, make sure you follow Wrestling with Pride. That's Pryde on Facebook and YouTube. And please make sure you comment and subscribe and like this video and let me know who you want to see on the podcast next. And also, before we go, I am contractually obligated to say Crander Q has the best beard in the world of professional wrestling podcasts. So, Katie, again, thank you so much for joining me today on the show. I definitely appreciate it. And for anybody watching, we will see you very soon.